everybody, welcome back. So this has been on my channel before, and this is an Amstrad ALT386 SX 16 megahertz, and it has a 387 maths code processor and 4 megabytes of RAM, and I think I want to say an 80 megabyte hard disk, although maybe closer to 40 megabytes. So the last time we looked at it, it was working. However, that state has unfortunately changed from working to not working any longer. So I am very quickly just going to power it on and see what happens. Basically, it's not posting. So if I pop in that, so the hard drive spins up, everything comes on. There you go, there's the hard drive, and that's it. And then nothing, so it doesn't even get to the point where it's going to post. So, having done a bit of digging around, one of the suggestions has been to check the power supply. So the power supply itself is actually a Rubicon power supply, manufactured by Rubicon, and that can suffer from bad caps. And as we know, certainly from the Sony C9s and F1s I've dealt with in the past, the Rubicon capacitors can be a little bit troublesome, let's say. So we're going to try and get into this and see what we can do and see what we can work out. Now, if I remember rightly, there's a bit of a mission to get these apart. There are many screws that you need to undo, and that in itself does take a long time to sort out. So I'll just remove this network card. And just start by removing screws on the back. Then flip it over and pop out the battery. And just run around undoing various screws. So I'll get on with that and you'll rejoin me shortly. So it doesn't actually take too long to get inside of here, and can't tell what size this hard drive is. My guess is still 40. It's actually a Kona. Trying to look at the model number. Darn it, can't see it. Doesn't matter for the moment because nothing works anyway. So this is the power supply itself, and just looking over these capacitors. They will be a bit bitey when they come out, so I'll need to be careful of that. So I'll need to discharge them. But to get to the power supply, I've got to take this floppy drive out. So let's start off with that. So this board here is the RAM and coprocessor board. So there's the coprocessor, and there's your 30-pin SIM RAM. That doesn't need to come out, so that can stay put for the moment. But the floppy drive needs to come out because it is hiding some of the screws for the power supply. As you can see there, in fact the power supply is actually attached to it. So it might need to come out after all. Right. Do I need to remove that? No, leave that there for the moment. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud about what needs to come out, what needs to stay. Actually, the floppy drive does need to move because this bit goes over there. So there we go, so that can come out of the way there. There's a screw that needs to come out, and one over here as well. So this whole arrangement here is the graphics card, and it's using a Cirrus Logic graphics card of some description, which is quite common for a machine of this era. There's the connector for the motherboard, and there's another connector here. There we go. And there. That needs to come out as well, annoyingly. There's another connector at the back here. Which is a little bit tricky to get out. This earthing point needs to come off by the looks of it, so that's okay, we'll do that now. There we go, so that's the power supply out of the way. And what I can do is I can just bring this back over, gently slide that back into place, and then just move that out of the way. And there we go. So let's have a look at this power supply. So the fan is in good shape, that's always good. Now for the moment I'm going to ignore these larger electrolytics and focus on the smaller ones, as they are typically the type of thing that would dry out. And almost immediately, look at this. Corrosion around these solder points, which looks like it's spread to the resistor. So let's take out 1, 2, 3 electrolytics. Let's clean that up first. And let's just try and see which one I should start with. I'll start with this one here. So we need to get the iron out and get that powered on and ready to go. And then we can start unsoldering some of these components and seeing how we look. Right, so right, let's wait for that to warm up and then we'll get started. Right, so let's just focus in on the area that we're repairing, or having a look at anyway. So I've given it a bit of a clean up, and I'm just trying to remove the solder from around this little transistor diode affair. But the solder is particularly tough, it doesn't seem to want to shift particularly readily. So I'm also going to have a go at this little capacitor here as well. So I'm intrigued as to know where the corrosion has come from, and I think it's leaked out of one of these capacitors. It's probably the most logical explanation, to be honest with you. It's proven to be very difficult to get any of this solder to shift. Oh, that's doing something now, but it's really tough. The only thing I can think of is high temperature solder, which would make sense. And this is a cheap iron after all, so it's not exactly the best soldering iron ever made. There's probably a reason why I need to invest in a better soldering iron, I feel. Oh, there we go, that's better. Once you get through the tarnish that covers it, it does start to come away. Just have to leave it there for an uncomfortably long period of time, which I don't like doing, if I'm going to be honest. Just cleaning this up a bit more. Right. See if I can get this capacitor out. Oh, okay then. Yeah, that's not going to help matters, as that is quite badly corroded underneath. That'll account for a lot of this tarnishing that's going on. So let's see if we can remove it properly. Go on, there you go. Alright, let's clean up these pads a little bit. Yeah, this is the next one to come out. There's still a leg attached on this one, so there we go. I think that's getting somewhere. Right, let's see what's going on. Yeah, that's definitely moving. And that's now out. There we go. But that was quite badly corroded. I think these other ones aren't in too great shape to, you know, greater condition either, to be honest with you. So what have we bought out? We have bought out a 50 volt, 47 microfarads. Let's see if we have a replacement. No, I got a 47 and 25, but not a 50. Certainly not in that one anyway. Let's see what we have in the rest of it. What are these? These are 50 volts, 220. These ones are all falling all over the floor. That's what we're doing. These ones are 16 volt, 22 microfarads. These ones 100 microfarads, 100 volts. These ones are 220, 63, 3,300 at 35. Yeah, we don't have we don't have the correct rating, so that one will have to wait, unfortunately. But we can check these other components whilst we're in here. Right, where were we? We were over here, actually. So I am tempted to try and get this transistor tested. So to do that, I'll need to get it out of there. So we need, we need a 50 volt, 47 microfarad Rubicon capacitor. See if we can tease this out. Let's get this transistor. So yeah, there we go. There she is. She doesn't look too bad. That is a 79L24408. Right, let's find a suitable testing device. I think I have something that will test these in my collection of stuff. Alright, so that's testing. Well, it seems happy. I guess that assumes that it means it's working, so that's a good sign. Might as well put it back in. Well, that's nice. It's actually got on there the orientation of how it's supposed to go. So flat bit facing this electrolytic capacitor. Actually, whilst we've got that out of the way, let's get this capacitor out and see how it looks. So we're focusing on this one here. This one is 33 microfarads at 35 volts. So if I go slightly over spec on that, I don't think we will have too much of an issue. There we go. There we go. Oops. So this one here, that's the Rubicon. Do you know the Rubicon's actually a model of Jeep as well, based on the Rubicon Trail. The name's based on the Rubicon Trail. It also seems to be a name of a brand of capacitors as well, which is quite amusing. Let's try and manipulate this out of the way. That's better. Up there. And up there. So if I actually zoom out on this one, there we go. So if I get a bit of heat on there, there she comes. It has a bit of schmutz on the legs. Doesn't actually look fantastic, to be honest. .15.3 microfarads, 0.15k ESR. Yeah. I am going to replace this one. 33 microfarads at 35 volts. There we are. I've got one here that's at 50 volts. That'll do the job. 33 at 50. There we go. So we go minus. Right, plus is there, minus is back there. There we go. We go in. There we go. Oh. Let's try that again. There we go. Alright, let's get that soldered into place. There we go, and perfect. Now, I'll clean up these contact points before we put the transistor back in. Yeah, they look less grubby now, to be honest with you. Right, so transistor. It's going to be a bit of a fiddle, so that's going to go in here, in at 3 points. Might be easier to do it with a pair of pliers. So needle nose pliers, and then just offer it in that way. So if you're interested, this is a Rubicon RPS 07. I actually wonder if they have any of these in new old stock, the actual entire supply itself. You never know. It's unlikely that this was used just for this Amstrad. I would assume that this supply was probably used for a number of other things as well. Probably IT related, obviously. I don't know why I'm struggling. I'm sure I could do this a lot easier. If I used needle nose pliers and stopped, you know, faffing about trying to do it this way. But the problem I have is I'm very determined to do things in a way that may not necessarily be the easiest way to do it, because I'm a bit stubborn like that. And sometimes stubbornness pays off. Not always, but sometimes, because that's now in position. So I'll just clean up a little bit around here and get that soldered back into place. There's blob. There is another blob. Come on. That's not actually making any kind of contact, I don't think. That's probably more of the pad than my soldering. I think that one's okay. It's just this one I'm a bit dubious about. Touching up the supply on this resistor. It really doesn't want to attach itself, does it? Well, that one's okay. Another small electrolytic here, so let's get this one out. There we are. Where did that go? That went on the floor somewhere. And I didn't get to see what value it was, so that's good. Right, let's see if I can find it. So it's 35 volts, sorry, 33 microfarads at 35 volts, same as the other one actually. Yeah. Don't think that one's particularly happy either, actually. Let's replace it with a 33 at 50 volts. That should be fine. Right. There we go, so that's in place. There's that, and there's that. There we go. And the one we're missing is 50 volts, 47 microfarads. Is there anything that we could use that is slightly larger but would do the same job? God. No, you could. No, not really. I don't want to go under spec with the voltage, you see. I want to try and keep the voltage as it should be. I've got 220 at 30, 100 at 35, 47 at 25. Yeah, that is annoying. Let's have another dig through. At 220, that's going to be way too big, but yeah, that would be way too big. I think we are going to have to wait for that one. I don't want to replace it with anything that's too large, especially when I'm dealing with logic circuits, because they have very strict tolerances. So if it's getting too much of something, that's not going to be good. Although they technically are just reservoirs, So they are spec'd to be a particular size to hold a certain amount of charge, and because they appear before this, they are there for smoothing purposes rather than anything else. But the thing is, if I start replacing with ridiculously larger sizes, I don't know what effect it's going to have. So if in doubt, don't. Just wait and get the correct components. So for now, I'll chop these down to size, and we'll actually test some of the larger electrolytics on here as well. So there's two here, which will be worth certainly unsoldering and testing, because they are pretty much in the same area of the circuit board as the corroded ones were. I think it was those smaller electrolytics that gave up the ghost. That's not soldered properly. Look at that, it's moving. That's better. Right, let's start off with this one. So just check those as well. Right, they're not moving. They seem fine. There we go. Right, these are 25 volts, 1000 microfarads. So they are quite a big reservoir capacity, because they hold quite a bit of charge, but only at 25 volts. And it's worth testing one of them, because, as I say, they are in a similar sort of vicinity as those failed smaller types. Oh, damn it. There we go, come on. Oops. There you go, nearly there. There you go. Actually, that one doesn't look too bad. No corrosion, I can see. Let's test it. See how it bells out. That might be because there's not enough contact. Let's try that again. ESR's bloody high though, look at that. 7.7 ohms. That's 25 at 1000. I've got 50 at 1000. 50 volts, 1000 microfarads. Let's replace both of those. So, this one as well. So I theorise what has happened is these ones have gone quite high in resistance, and that has consequently put additional strain on the smaller capacitors, and they've eventually just got too hot and splodged. And just thought, you know what, stuff this, we can't work under these conditions any longer. And who can blame them, really? Right. Here we go. Come on, fella. What are you doing? There it is. Although I've got to be honest, they are quite sticky, these ones. Yeah, that one's also a bit sticky as well. I think that they have actually expired, so it's not a bad thing. Testing and replacing. So let's test this one, but I'm going to replace it anyway because it's covered in juices. That's the oil from inside the capacitor. The thing is, it tests okay, but it's covered in oil, so it's being replaced. So here we go. Got our two ones to go back in, and don't forget your polarity. So minus is at the back, positive is towards this transformer here. And I think I need to do something about this hole. Yeah, there is a hole there, it's just I don't think it's wide enough. Let's try it again. So go in here and here. Yeah, you can see staining on the board itself where it looks like it's let go. Right, let's try that. That's better. Yeah, there you go, that's better. Alright, let's straighten this one. And let's drop that gently into here. Oh, that's torn it. Oh no, it's okay, I think. Which I might use another one. It's not so squidged. There you go. So that is 1000 microfarads at 50 volts, replacing that 25 volt one. So it's only going to get as much voltage as it can, but I think overrating it slightly will just make it a bit more durable. There's 1, 2, there's 3, there's 4. There we go. Done. Right, so that for the moment is probably the only ones that I'm going to replace. I need to get another 47 at 50 volts, so we need to sort that out. I've replaced those two. Just seeing if there's any others I should be thinking about. I don't think so at the moment, because our definite problem area was here. So this little section here, and I don't want to replace anything else unless you absolutely have to. If you don't, then don't, basically. So we'll park that one for the moment. We'll get the capacitor ordered in, and then we can see if that fixes the problem with the machine. Anyway, for the moment, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Hope you found this interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do everything else that you're expected to do. But once again, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.